Do you have a mortgage business or you want to get into opening your own mortgage business and you want to build a brokerage that actually makes money? There are 3 proven models, and picking the wrong one could cost you years of wasted effort and 6 figures in lost income if you don't pick the right one. So today I want to break down real numbers, some pros and cons of the different models that you can choose, and making sure that the right path for your goals and your risk tolerance when building your own mortgage company. I'm Megan Marsh. If you're new to this channel, I'm a 20-year veteran in the mortgage industry, and specifically in the wholesale and mortgage broker industry. I've opened several brokerages and I help current mortgage brokers with their mortgage business models, how they make money, how to become more profitable. And we're going to talk about 3 different mortgage broker models that are working right now. Most new brokerages, they can fail, not because of bad markets, but because they choose a business model that doesn't fit their strength, their budget, or what their goal is. Let's make sure you're not picking one of them. So the first model, when you look at it, of the 3, let's call it the traditional model, which is built for loan officers. And how it works is the company's success is driven by recruiting loan officers who build their own relationships. You, as the owner, usually are producing yourself. That's what starts the company. But then you're bringing other people in, you're providing them resources, and they're getting a split, a mortgage commission split. The types of things that you can provide them are marketing support, processing, compliance, tech, pretty much the whole infrastructure. That's why I call it the traditional model. Loan officers are paid in basis points, usually somewhere between 75 to 155 basis points per loan. Your profit comes from the spread between what you pay the loan officers and what the lender is paying your company. And the key to this game and the numbers is, can you take the difference in what the loan officer is getting paid and what the company gets, and can you keep your expenses to a point where you are still making money at the end of the day? When you talk numbers on this model, the startup costs can be higher because you have to build everything. You have to build the marketing foundation, the CRM, you have to have the staff. So you have a lot more people underneath one umbrella. I would say you're going to need more upfront, or you're going to need to use parts of your commissions as the broker owner to build out this model, so that the break even on it really can be 12 to 18 months after you are bringing people in, and you have to bring in a number of loan officers to start seeing returns. Let's say anywhere from 5 to 12 loan officers to start making enough money where you can consider maybe backing off and not producing as much. Profit margins on this type of model, probably between 15 to 25% once you're established. And who wins here? This is a great model for people who love recruiting, you love building a team, managing diverse personalities. The biggest risk is loan officer turnover. If you lose a top producer, and your revenue can drop overnight. Model number 2 still is the traditional model, but how your business comes in is different. It's more like a direct-to-consumer model. In model 2, this direct-to-consumer approach, how it works is the owner is the rainmaker. They're the one driving business through either their personal book of business and then other people are working it, or they're working leads. They're buying lead lists, they're going through Zillow. Leads are coming in, the owner has a system in place, and the loan officers or LOAs who work in that model are getting paid a lower comp percentage. This means you hire an inside sales team to process and manage deals, but you control the relationships, the pipeline, and everything in between. You own the lead generation system. Think lead lists, right? Digital marketing, repeat business, all that type of stuff. Startup costs on this, pretty similar to our first model, because you're going to have to invest. It could either be you're investing your time into building the relationships, or you're investing money into buying leads. Your break even is a little bit shorter because you've built a book of business and you're paying less to the salespeople that are working the business. They don't have to go out and get it, so their commissions are lower. Therefore, your profit margin is going to go up a little bit more to 30 to 40% because you're not splitting it with outside loan officers. And who wins here is this is perfect for experienced loan officers, rainmakers who want to maximize profit, control the experience. Biggest risk is if you step away, could the business slow down? Have you built a machine that will keep coming in if you're not around? Also, can you control the costs underneath this model? Just like in the first one, yes, you can control it a little more without the outside LOs, but if you're going to keep all the staff on, my biggest piece of advice for people who have this type of model is to make sure you're outsourcing as many things as you can. Maybe you don't have processing under this model. You use contract processing. And then the third model that's become increasingly popular in recent years is the per file company model. And the per file model is the leanest way to run a mortgage brokerage. What happens is you as the owner, you keep overhead ultra low. Loan officers are almost like independent contractors with their own P&L. So what happens is you provide the bare minimum. You provide the back end office to make sure banks are signed up with, that the licenses are in place, and that payroll is happening. But anything else, the company deducts from the loan officer's commission. So every time a loan officer closes a loan, you deduct a flat fee to go towards your back office. You make less with that flat fee, but you also pay less because you're not paying for marketing, you're not paying for a CRM, you're not paying their credit reports, you're not paying any of those things unless it's your business that's underneath this model as well. And if when we talk the numbers, startup costs are a lot lower because you're staying really lean, probably a third to a half of how much it would cost to build the systems in the first two models. Your break even is probably a lot quicker, maybe 4 or 5 months with just a few active loan officers, but your profit margins are also smaller. I would say they're down around 20%, 25%. For this model to be really profitable, you have to bring in hundreds of loan officers. If you're wondering how much is the typical per file fee, I've seen them anywhere from $595 to $1,600 per closed loan. Now, who wins here? So this model is best for those of you who want to run a brokerage with minimal management, test the waters with less risk. The biggest risk is less control over loan officer activity and a need for higher volume to make some serious money. So let's compare and do a recap on the three models. For the biggest risk, it's the loan officer built model, the model that reflects what is being done in retail. Highest upfront cost, biggest risk if you have loan officer turnover. Your middle range risk is your direct to consumer, where you're controlling everything, where you're making sure you know the business that's coming in the door, you control the team that works it, you pay them slightly less, so you make a bigger profit margin at the bottom. And then the lowest risk is your per file, because it's the lowest startup, but it's also the lowest return. It takes a lot longer because you need to get a lot more bodies and a lot more seats in the door for you to make the kind of money you can in the first two models. You know, there is no right or wrong. What I always recommend is pick the one that matches your strengths, the capital you have, and your appetite for managing these systems and people. And remember that the best model is one that you can execute consistently. So if you're ready to dive deeper on any of these models and you want to talk to our consulting group, all you need to do is click the link down in the description and someone on our team will meet with you to go over how we can help turn your mortgage brokerage into the exact type of mortgage company that you've always dreamed of. Or if you want help mapping out your business plan, just book that free strategy call. Don't gamble on your future or on your business with the wrong model. Choose smart and build for profit.